Demystifying customs clearance, essential for importers and exporters in international trade. Welcome back to our channel. In today's video, we will be discussing the customs clearance obligations for importers and exporters. Customs clearance is an essential process that ensures compliance with customs regulations and facilitates the smooth flow of goods across international borders. So, let's dive in and explore whether importers and exporters have to undergo customs clearance. Customs clearance for importers. Importers have a legal obligation to undergo customs clearance when bringing goods into a country. Customs clearance involves submitting the necessary documentation and paying any applicable duties or fees to gain legal entry for the imported goods. Documentation requirements. Importers must provide specific documentation during customs clearance, which typically includes a commercial invoice, packing list, bill of lading or airway bill, and any additional permits or certificates required for specific goods. Customs valuation and payment of duties. Importers must accurately declare the value of the imported goods for customs valuation purposes. Based on the value and classification of the goods, customs duties, taxes, and any other applicable fees must be paid during the customs clearance process. Compliance with import regulations. Importers must adhere to import regulations and compliance requirements, which may include obtaining licenses, permits, or certifications for certain goods. Customs clearance ensures that all imported goods meet the necessary standards and comply with local laws and regulations. Customs brokerage services. Importers often rely on the expertise of customs brokers to navigate the customs clearance process efficiently. Customs brokers assist importers in preparing the required documentation, calculating duties, and ensuring compliance with customs regulations. Customs clearance for exporters. Exporters also have specific customs clearance obligations when sending goods out of a country. Customs clearance for exports involves complying with export regulations, completing necessary documentation, and providing required information to customs authorities. Documentation requirements. Exporters must provide certain documents during the customs clearance process for exports. These documents typically include a commercial invoice, packing list, export declaration, and any certificates or licenses required for specific goods. Compliance with export regulations. Exporters must comply with export regulations, which may include restrictions on certain goods, compliance with trade embargoes or sanctions, or obtaining export licenses or permits. Customs clearance ensures that export shipments meet these requirements. Verification and security screening. Customs authorities may conduct verification and security screenings on export shipments before granting clearance. This is to ensure compliance with export regulations and to prevent the unauthorized export of restricted or prohibited goods. Export controls for sensitive goods. Certain goods, such as military or dual-use items, may require additional export controls or licenses. Exporters must adhere to these controls and obtain the necessary licenses or approvals to ensure compliance with export regulations. Collaboration with freight forwarders and carriers. Exporters often collaborate with freight forwarders and shipping carriers to handle the logistics of export customs clearance. These partners assist in preparing and submitting the necessary documentation, coordinating with customs authorities, and ensuring the smooth flow of goods. Record keeping and audit trail. Both importers and exporters must maintain records and documentation related to customs clearance for a specified period, as stipulated by customs regulations. These records serve as evidence of compliance and may be subject to audit or verification by customs authorities. Penalties for non-compliance. Non-compliance with customs clearance requirements can result in penalties and delays. Both importers and exporters must ensure that they meet all customs obligations, submit accurate documentation, and comply with import and export regulations to avoid any adverse consequences. Harmonization with international standards. Customs clearance obligations aim to harmonize trade processes and ensure consistency with international standards. Initiatives such as the World Customs Organization's WCO Safe Framework of Standards enable streamlined customs practices and enhanced security measures. Compliance with trade agreements. Importers and exporters may benefit from preferential trade agreements that lower or eliminate customs duties. To take advantage of these agreements, compliance with the rules of origin and other provisions stated in the trade agreements is necessary. Continuous compliance updates. Customs regulations and requirements can change over time. Importers and exporters must stay informed about updates or amendments to customs procedures, legal requirements, and any tariff changes that may affect their customs clearance obligations. Collaboration with customs authorities. Importers and exporters should establish cooperative relationships with customs authorities. Open communication and mutual understanding help ensure efficient customs clearance and provide an avenue for obtaining guidance or clarification on customs matters. Utilizing digital solutions. Digital customs platforms and technology solutions are emerging to facilitate the customs clearance process. Importers and exporters can leverage these technologies to streamline their customs clearance obligations and enhance compliance. Professional advice and expertise. Importers and exporters may seek professional advice and expertise from customs brokers, trade consultants, or legal professionals to navigate complex customs requirements and ensure compliance with customs regulations. Thank you for watching our video on customs clearance obligations for importers and exporters. Both importers and exporters have a legal responsibility to undergo customs clearance processes to comply with customs regulations and facilitate the lawful movement of goods. Remember to subscribe to our channel for more informative videos on customs brokerage and international trade. Disclaimer note below. See you in our next video.